This is Michael Bosworth doing his TED Talk called Expertise Can Be Your Enemy. Check that out sometime. In 1976, Michael Bosworth was a sales trainer at Xerox. And that's when Xerox brought in a young Neil Rackham to study a problem that was costing Xerox billions of dollars. The problem was that 80% of the sales came from 20% of the sellers. And Rackham was going to study what the 20% of the successful salespeople were doing that the 80% weren't doing. It turned into a 12-year study and led to Neil Rackham's book, Spin Selling, in 1988. Still the best book on selling ever written. Back to Michael Bosworth. He's the author or co-author of Customer-Centric Selling, Solution Selling, and my favorite, What Great Salespeople Do. He still does keynote speeches on sales, marketing, and leadership, and he says in his later years, he enjoys being thought of as a sales philosopher. These days, he philosophizes about using storytelling while selling. The power of storytelling in connecting and building trust is one of his many videos on another network. He tells podcast host John Golden this: there are 3 types of stories that can be used as part of your sales strategy. One of them is your personal story, why you do what you do. People will get interested in that at some point. The story of your organization, why you decided to work for the company you work for. There's one each of those. The third category we call customer hero stories, and you can have dozens of customer hero stories, which are about people who are making money, saving money, achieving their goals, or solving their problems with the help of you or your product or your expertise. Every story has a setting, a complication, a turning point, and a resolution. Here's an example of a customer hero story. When I was a sales manager, once a month, I didn't plan the Monday morning meeting. Instead, one of the salespeople invited one of his or her customers to the meeting to give us a business briefing. And we had the salespeople come up with 3 questions to ask, so the meeting lasted at least 45 minutes, and so that the client didn't have to really prepare a talk. A young sales rep named Rod Zimmerman, who went on to become a CBS market manager in Chicago, invited Rupert Cornelius to the meeting. Rupert had 2 successful clothing stores in Madison, Wisconsin, and he appeared live at our Monday morning meeting. And that's the setting, the Monday morning sales meeting. Rod Zimmerman asked the first question: Mr. Cornelius, how do you pick merchandise to run in your ads? He said, good question, Rodney. When new merchandise comes in, we display it, put it on racks, put it in the window, and see what's selling without the advertising, and then we promote those items. And Rod said, well, they're already selling. Why advertise them? That's the struggle. Because I want to sell more of those items, Rodney, at full retail. And your station reaches thousands of people who won't walk by my window. And so I don't want to mark down things and then advertise them at your rates. That's not profitable. I want to advertise things that are already selling. The turning point. And finally, he said, I take the things that aren't selling, mark them down, and then people come in to buy the stuff I'm advertising, and they impulse buy some of these marked down items. The resolution. Just like that, 9 salespeople had a customer hero story about how Rupert Cornelius chooses merchandise to advertise. You know, Rupert Cornelius came to our sales meeting last week, and he says, stories work. Bosworth says, professional peer curiosity is a huge emotional need. You ask, may I share a story with you about another business owner? You give me permission. Using a story first makes you appear knowledgeable and able to help them improve their business or solve their problem. Do you have 2 or 3 customer hero stories you already tell? If so, make sure they have a setting, a struggle, a turning point, and a resolution. If not, use one of mine. Talk soon.